Chairman of CII Chhattisgarh and Executive Director of Hira Group, Mr. Tarang Khurana, National Vice Chair Designate of YI and Director of Icon Solar Technologies, Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, Angel Investor and Director of Real Ispat and Power, and all other officials of YI. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, sir, MIT University Chhattisgarh, our Honorable Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Surendra Rahmatkar, sir, MIT University Chhattisgarh, Honorable Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Sumita Dave, ma'am, MIT University Chhattisgarh. And I would also like to welcome all the HOIs, deans, directors, and faculty members of MIT University Chhattisgarh and fellow students who have gathered here today. Your presence makes this event even more special. Young Indians is a moment for Indian youth to converge, lead, co-create, and influence India's future. Young Indians' mission is to strengthen the future of India, gives a stage and voice to the country's next generation of change makers. It aims to instill young minds the power of leadership, enhance the youth entrepreneurial ecosystem, and create youth-led changes to build the nation. It is an integral part of the Confederation of Indian Industry. The Confederation of Indian Industry works to create and sustain an environment conducive to the development of India, partnering industry, government, and civil society through advisory and consultative process. CII is a non-government, not-for-profit industry-led and industry-managed organization with around 9,000 members from private as well as public sectors, including SMEs and MNCs, and an indirect membership of over 300,000 enterprises from 286 national and regional sectoral industry bodies. On this very occasion, I would like to invite Dr. Satyendra Patnaik, sir, Dean Corporate Resources, MIT University Chhattisgarh, onto the stage to lead us further about this program.
Good morning. So good morning, all of you. Profound and warm welcome with the honest blessings of our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our chairman, Dr. Aseem Chauhan ji, Chancellor, Dr. Selva Murthy sir, and the entire Amity fraternity. I welcome you all and CII, especially the young Indians, which we have a chapter here for a smart dialogue and on the theme based on a dialogue between young Indian achievers and business networking organizations that mentor entrepreneurs and how to build an ecosystem for business and work towards Industry 4.0. My friends, this topic where we are going to listen to the stalwarts panelists, and I'm very happy to announce and share that our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Piyush Kant Pandey, sir, has agreed to be a part of this integral thing. I really thank Ministry of Youth Affairs, CII, YI, especially all the office bearers here and the industrialists, all entrepreneurs, those who have come to grace this occasion. I really welcome Mr. Siddharth Agarwal ji, who is CII Chhattisgarh Chairman and Executive Director Hira Group. Mr. Tarang Khurana, who is YI National Vice Chair Designate and Director Icon Solar Technologies. Mr. Gaurav Agarwal is Angel Investor and Director Real Ispat and Power. And our own Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Piyush Kant Pandey, sir. So I request and expect that you all will use and utilize the maximum outcome of this entire event and would really get into the realms of business and entrepreneurship and startups. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Mr. Alok Agarwal, Chair, YI Raipur Chapter, to give us more details about the program.
Good morning, everyone. So, Mr. Tarang Khurana, YI National Vice Chair Designate and Director, Icon Solar Technologies. Mr. Siddharth Agrawal, CII Chhattisgarh Chairman and Executive Director, Hira Group. Professor Dr. Piyush Pandey, Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Raipur. Mr. Gaurav Agrawal, Angel Investor and Director, Real Ispat and Power. Faculty, students of Amity University, YI members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all. So before I proceed, I have a question for all the students out here. How many of you do you know that India is the president for G20 for the year 2023? Very few. And how many of you know this brainstorming session, Y20, is basically part of G20 this year? None of you. So it's great I've brought in this topic. The whole idea of this brainstorming session is basically to take the youth of the nation along with, and the discussions to be made part of the G20 meetings. Basically, India is known as mother of all democracies, and it holds the G20 presidency for the year 2023, and will 20 biggest economies of the world will be hosted in India, and along with them will come other invitee nations. As the world's most populous nation, India also is home to young population. The median age of India is currently somewhere around 28 years old, as compared to 40 in the G20 nation. So the whole, all G20 nations are actually looking towards India for fueling its growth through the youth who can become the resource. Y20 is an official engagement group of G20, consisting of young leaders from G20 countries. Y20 will provide a platform for dialogue and negotiation among young leaders in India and around the world to address the challenges facing our generation, make a positive impact on the world. Today's brainstorming session will serve as a prelude to the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Association India Summit and inspire us to work towards promoting youth entrepreneurship and driving economic growth, especially in India, which aims and believes that can become 5 trillion economy. Our goal today is to bring together entrepreneurs, business networking organizations, young Indians, that is you all, to discuss critical issues facing our economy, focusing on building an ecosystem for businesses and working towards Industry 4.0. The session will facilitate outcome-based discussions where we can exchange ideas, brainstorm, and arrive at solutions that can help shape the future of our country. A report of the outcome along with the video recording of the session. All discussions will, for example, if there'll be 4 discussions, Raipur will first go to the district level collectorate, and then it will go to the state ministry. And the all collaborative report of all states will ultimately go to the national level, to the Sherpa of G20, that is Mr. Amitabh Kantji. So whatever is being discussed today, it is not just for the sake of discussion. Whatever your inputs will be there, there's a good chance that it will form part of the report of G20. Our distinguished panel of speakers, including Mr. Siddharth Agrawal, Tarang Khurana, Mr. Gaurav Agrawal, and Professor Piyush Pandey, will share their insights and experiences on the theme, the shift from job seekers to self-employed, entrepreneurs, job creators, and employability of youth. And all of your active participation will make it even fruitful. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Amity University, the faculties, and all of the students for making this event possible. I am looking forward to productive and thought-provoking discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Today among us, we have our esteemed guests, Mr. Siddharth Agarwal, Mr. Tarang Khurana, Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, and Mr. Ritesh Gandeja. Mr. Siddharth Agarwal is the chairman of CII Chhattisgarh for 2023 and the executive director of Godavari Power and Ispat Limited. the flagship company of Hira Group of Industries. He is also the managing director of Godavari Electric Motors Private Limited, a company manufacturing electric two and three wheelers with the brand name of eBlue. He is a commerce graduate and MBA from Pune. Being the second generation entrepreneur, he is strategic planner and has got a knack for converting ideas and policies into concrete execution. He had successfully commissioned 50 megawatt solar thermal power plant at Rajasthan, which is one of its kind in India, and is also looking after the overall plant operations. He also looks after the procurement of raw material at optimal cost and marketing and sales of finished goods of the company GPIL. Mr. Tarang Khurana. Mr. Tarang Khurana has always been motivated by the desire to contribute towards more than just professional goals and give back to the community in an equal measure. Driven by this desire, he has taken up an active role in Young Indians over the past many years and held various responsibilities, including as the Raipur chapter chair of CII's Young Indians. He worked to drive awareness of the work undertaken by YI Raipur through a battery of activities that cover social impact as well as professional impact. In his current position as National Vice Chair Designate of Young Indians, he overlooks the activities of YI nationally and internationally. Prior to this, as the National Chair, Project Masoom, he worked with Young Indians to drive efforts against child sexual abuse at a pan-India level. Professionally, Mr. Tarang leads a social module manufacturing company out of central India and has undertaken the execution of various projects across the country, including the deep interiors, where solar power is bringing light to many villages. He has been instrumental with working in Let's Run Raipur to organize and drive marathons around the city. Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, Director of Real Estate and Power Limited, and is one amongst the promoter of Real Group, a leading group of the country in the sector of steel and power. He is MSc in Corporate Finance from Cass Business School, London, and also a mechanical engineer heading finance, IT, operations of the group, making a tectonic shift in the automation and analytics relating to ERP, SAP. He also started with the family office of Real Group in 2014 and is actively managing the portfolio of the company by investing into financial market instruments, real estate, startups, and other asset classes across different geographies, having participated in Startup Weekend, London, currently part of prominent angel investor networks in the country, and having worked alongside some startups in India. He understands the new age business very well. He is an active speaker in entrepreneurship clubs and institutes like IIM, IIT, CII, Young Indians, etc. Driven by values and spirituality, he is actively associated with ISKCON. He loves to indulge in discussions with entrepreneurs who he believes is the lifeline of any country. Mr. Ritesh Kandeja is the co-founder of StratView Research, one of the most promising startups of Central India in the services sector. Started with 3 people in 2016, StratView, a market intelligence and strategic B2B research firm, now has a team of 75 plus analysts and consultants with more than 100 clients in more than 20 countries, including many Fortune 500 companies. Over the past 7 years, he has spearheaded companies' business development activities, winning clients such as Boeing, Airbus, Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, GE Aviation, Thales, 3M, DuPont, BASF, Dow Chemical, Intel, Bosch, Panasonic, Kawasaki, and Daikin, etc. Mr. Ritesh has been regular speaker in conferences across the world in US, France, Singapore, and South Korea. He is also the chair of Yuva Vertical of Young Indians Raipur chapter. Now I would like to request Mr. Siddharth Agarwal, Mr. Tarang Khurana, Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, Mr. Ritesh Kandeja to come up on the stage. I would also like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, MIT University, Chhattisgarh, to join the guests onto the stage. Now, I would like to request Mr. Ritesh Kandeja, sir, to take over the program forward.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, respected panelists, I welcome you all for this brainstorming session under the Y20 dialogue. And thanks Amity University for hosting this in such a short span of time. So first of all, I would like to just give a brief of what the theme for today is and what are the two agendas on which we're going to talk about. The theme for this event is a dialogue between young Indian achievers and business networking organizations on how to build an ecosystem for business and work towards Industry 4.0. That is the recent digital revolution which our country has been experiencing. The two agenda for today's discussion is, first is the shift from job seekers to entrepreneurs and job creators. And the second agenda is employability for the youth of this country. So we'll start with the first agenda. And this question is for all in general. Let's start with the first question and then we can come to each of you with the individual questions. So if you talk about India, over the past one decade, we've seen a sea change in the mindset of people from being a job seeker to, job creator, or being a self-dependent, or being an entrepreneur, So what do you think are the factors which has driven this mindset? And do you think Industry 4.0, that is the digital revolution which has taken place, has played a key role in this sea change of mindset? Tarang?
Good morning, everyone. Extremely glad to be here with all of you today. Thank you, Ritesh, for that question. I believe India has always been a land of entrepreneurs. It's not over the last decade. It's not over the last 10 years. I believe India as a country, we've seen this, has always been a place, a country, a land of entrepreneurs, people coming in from all walks of life, be it rural, urban. Self-business, self-employment is something that is very, very core to us as Indians. Khud ka kuch karna hai. Dhanda, kaam, apna. That is something that we all strive for, irrespective where we come in from. Industry 4.0 has been a massive enabler. Do you guys know what Industry 4.0 is? Raise your hands if you know. If you don't know, that's okay. Yeah, today's discussion is for that. Industry 4.0 basically means, how do you enhance productivity? How do you enhance working natures? By using data analytics, by using smart computers, by using productivity measures in order to increase and improve outputs, right? Industrial revolution, this is the fourth version that we are coming to, right? Over the last 10 years, data analytics is something that has come to the very core of global economy. India in this time has been a massive driver, not only in adopting, but actually ensuring that we are exporting these technologies to the world, right? So India is at the forefront, and I believe as students, as people who are right on the cusp of this technology right now, there could not be a more exciting time to be a part of. Everything that you need is right here. India in terms of the opportunity base, India in terms of its skill base, and obviously, the recognition, the worth that yes, India is capable is now going out. That is something that is very, very significant. That's opened over the last decade or so, if we may say so. India has always been a land of entrepreneurs. Now it's time to be a land of smart entrepreneurs, is what I would like to say. Thanks, Ritesh.
Maybe from my side, if you want my take on this one. First of all, we need to understand what is this Industry 4. For example, he asked the question, what is Industry 4? Remember that this basically industrial revolution, we can say it is Industrial Revolution 4. The Industrial Revolution, you might remember, it started with the first when James Watt identified the steam engine. So somewhere in 1800 and something, when the Britain started the use of steam for manufacturing the textiles and these activities. That was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution 1. The two started when the electricity was basically invented, and electricity started being used in the industry. And that made, in fact, the real industrialization started with the use of the electricity over there. The Revolution 3, Industry 3, which we say, is basically the when we started to use the computers. The process of digitalization, which is started in the use of computers, that was the industry 3. Now industry 4 we are in. Now what is industry 4? It is computers is still there. Digitalization is basically a part and parcel of it. But more than that, now it is becoming more and more automation. And now more and more automation and coupled with the digitalization, both like OT and IT, both. OT is the operational, we can say technologies are becoming more and more smarter in the industry. That has to be coupled with the industrial technology, I mean the IT technologies. That is basically a mixture of these two. And together, these all is transforming the whole world. Now at this age when we are, our country is hosting this presidency of the G20, you have to understand what are the G20 countries. Remember in 1947 when we got our independence, I again keep on saying that whenever our prime minister used to visit the other countries in those days, the major agenda was how much rice or how much wheat we can get from those countries as a aid. That was a major agenda we used to discuss. But now when our prime minister goes, and in fact, for that matter, I must tell all of you, when you visit any country, you will find that you are treated with a greater respect, much greater respect than what any Indian has ever achieved, ever could command. Everywhere, if this, you say in America, if you say that you are Indian, in fact, mostly people will identify you and they'll expect you to be an expert in computers. They expect you to be, one of the software geek who can do anything. And really that is what is being done by Indians in America. But the same thing has been happening in India also. Now together the time has come where India is now world leader in as far as the digitalization is concerned. As a mass scale, the success of UPI, which is happening that way, or success of all digital technology, which is happening in country, is one of the very important thing which India has achieved. So you have to understand, we are in the midst of this industrial revolution 4, where now we need to be much higher than the only whatever digitalization is there. Now we have to understand what are the other advanced technologies are there and how industry is getting benefited by that, and what is required for you to be prepared for that. That is the whole, I feel there's a whole mission is over here. And I'm really very happy that such a wonderful achievers are here with us who are heading the industries. So you have to, I'll request that all of you should understand what is really we are talking and try to take some lessons from this session would be very much required.
Morning all. So why does India has an advantage over other countries? So to start with, India is underdeveloped. India was very backward in education. India had a lot of, it's a democratic country, so there's a lot of democracies around across, right? But are these advantages or disadvantages for India? I believe these are the advantages for India. So when we talk about underdeveloped nations, the opportunity is the most in these kind of countries. So when you talk about Europe, you talk about the West, you talk about China, those countries have gone so far that adaptation has become a challenge for them now. So these new technologies that's coming up, 4.0 technology, for us, it's much, much easier to understand them, use them, and apply them. And the youth, India has the largest youth population across the globe. And that's what defines a country, because the youth is the one who's going to eventually justify the needs of the democracy, right? So going forward, if you think that this is going to impact behavior, this is going to impact a lot of thought processes, this is going to help you to define your personal goals, and this is going to give you the depth knowledge of what you're trying to focus in your careers. So I started working when I was, it's been almost more than a couple of decades. So we had nothing then, you know, we used to practically work on papers and sheets and use calculators and, you know, learn drawings. But now everything's there, and this technology is pushing a better growth around. So we've done a lot of changes in the industries. We've adapted so much, we've learned so much and still learning. So we feel that there's no end to it. So this new 4.0 is moving to a generation next where they are trying to create a new entrepreneurs. They are trying to create more job seekers. The challenge is, the challenge currently is, you know, It's more about the focus is not there. People are too diversified. They are looking around here and there. They're looking for a lot of opportunities at one given a point. So you need to get focused. You need to just pick one subject, do detailed research on it, use this technology for your growth, understand in depth, and eventually you'll turn out to be, one of the most prominent entrepreneurs that India's come across. So the shift is always for good. Adaptation is very important. So keep your minds open about it. Don't get scared because there's a lot of questions about ChatGPT is going to take jobs away. There's going to be technology is going to, reduce the human resources. It's never going to happen. Human resources are the most important factor in any industry, may it be anything. So without human resources, any technology doesn't work, So technology is basically just to guide you to perform better. It cannot replace you. There's no one in the world who can replace a human resource. So use it to your benefits and go with the world, flow with it. Try and learn more of it. Yeah, so it's a new gen. So next decade, couple of decades is gonna teach a lot more things. So nothing to be scared about it. It's more about adaptation and learning from it. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely correct. Actually, the point you made goes very well with the current theme that, human intelligence has always been better than artificial intelligence. It will remain so in the coming decades and, centuries.
Yeah, good morning all. Very glad to be a part of the panel here and amongst such smart minds of Chhattisgarh. In fact, Amity, one of the most prestigious institutes in the country. So I think, as mentioned by Tarang, Siddharth Bhaiya and Professor, India has always been a very entrepreneurial centric country. It is in our genes to work for ourselves rather than working for others. I mean, humans, if you start off from the gathering age, people used to hunt for themselves and then they used to cumulatively consume. And then they started farming, and farming led to like family resources coming in. People collaborated with each other. And then came the Industrial Revolution, wherein the hierarchy of working started off. There used to be big organizations coming in, the lot of levels coming into the organizations. People used to work for someone or the other. And now we are in the information age, I think, since 2000s, after the advent of internet, everything has changed. I mean, information age is, I believe, reversing the entire industrial revolution that has gone through. I mean, whatever you see today, whatever you consume today, whatever you think today is a lot of data flowing around you. So human mind and your conscience is the only most powerful thing in the world. I mean, nothing can replace that. Whatever machines, whatever AI, whatever ChatGPTs you're building, it is all built by coders who are nothing but a human mind, a conscience leading to developing such codes. So a coding, I don't think so in our lifetime, in my human existence, I can see AI replacing humans or anything of those sorts, because it is being developed by human, and intrinsically a human mind is very explorative. It's too vast an amount to replicate by codes or brains. So I think in the past decade, if you say so, what has changed in India is, I'll say the internet has boomed with the amount of data consumption through some telecom companies. It has led to a lot of learning across levels. Today, if you want to get into a job or if you want to learn something new about technology, it's very easy to access tutorials on internet. Learning has really accelerated, and at the same time, the infrastructure in the country has really boomed in terms of payment, in terms of supply chain, in terms of a lot of work that people used to build in-house is now being outsourced to different companies, different job seekers. I mean, 10 years back, who would have thought that playing video games would be a job? Who would have thought commenting on video games would have been a job? So it is AI and technology is not replacing or removing jobs. I think they are creating new jobs altogether. They are just eliminating the old jobs and they are creating new ones. So it's up to you to decide on which side of the field you're going to be and how much learning you can take. I think education plays the most important role out here in educating the masses to get these jobs and get these fields on track. So I think, yeah, also the cost of capital of starting a new business has gone down with the term in terms of technology. You can sit at your home and, start and test out your own idea. You can test out through a lot of incubation centers. You can test out through a lot of angel investors in the country. So everything, all the system has fallen into place. That's why you see India coming out with a lot of unicorns. It is the second country after the US in the world who produces the highest amount of unicorns in the world. So it's sooner or later, 5 years, 10 years down the line, that India can be number one in terms of the unicorns and the total number of entrepreneurs coming out of this country.
Thanks, Gaurav. Yeah. So I think with every invention or a new technology that arrives in the world, there comes an opportunity, I think, that is created, and that creates the next revolution for creating a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurship. For example, when Google revolution happened, when Google search engine was invented, a lot of people thought that it will eat a lot of jobs because it gives us information just firsthand. But then it created a whole lot of industry of digital marketing and online advertisement that gives jobs to n number of people, and that is one of the most sought after jobs today for young minds like you. So I think that is very well applicable today as well with the new arrival of technologies like AI and ChatGPT and automation and all that. Thank you. So taking the discussion ahead for this topic, my question to you, Mr. Siddharth, is since you had the CII Chhattisgarh, and if you talk about Chhattisgarh today, it is still dominated by the core industries like steel, power, mining, manufacturing, and those kind of, you very well know about it. So how do we create an ecosystem in Chhattisgarh wherein we create the ecosystem for building new entrepreneurs for other core industries, other sectors as well, for example, tech or maybe automotive or any kind of other IT probably, or analytics, or those kind of new age startups and industries? How do we create that ecosystem in the state here?
Sure, Ritesh. So Chhattisgarh has been mining power for decades now, but the shift is happening. The problem is the capex. When you talk about core industries, the capex goes in thousands of crores, and then you don't have enough resources and enough people to do such kind of investments. When you talk about new business setups, other sectors, so the most important ecosystem that has to be created is the ancillaries. So for example, we got into electric vehicles, right? So we just started manufacturing electric bicycles and all the stuff. I'm facing a challenge to create an ecosystem because everything is coming either from Karnataka or Maharashtra or Andhra, or even going all the way down to Chennai, So how do I create this business, and how do I make Chhattisgarh a steel electric vehicle hub going forward? So I need to build ancillaries around myself. So I need to encourage people to start up small units, with small investments. It doesn't need to be in hundreds of crores, an investment of 5 crores, 10 crores, a good idea, an innovative idea, how to improve the compatibilities of the components which are being used into vehicles, So once you start developing these systems around the city itself, around the state itself, the major industries automatically going to come up. So if I tell Maruti, or if I tell Tata, or if I go to IT sector, if I go to Infosys and I tell them, boss, why don't you set up a center here? So they always ask a question is, why Chhattisgarh? What benefit do we have here? Then it comes down to human resources. It comes down to cost. It comes down to comfort. So why is Bangalore very popular? Hyderabad very popular? Because people feel those are very good cities. There's very good education system there. My children's gonna be happy. They want to get good education. I have good malls. I have theaters. I have good shopping places. I have good food places. So why would somebody go and live in Chhattisgarh? What's there? So small things matters. Once you start creating all these small infrastructures, major companies would come here and invest. You'll have the cheapest of resources, human resources. You'll have the best of life, comfort, social security. So if you go back 5 years down the line, I think medical was very poor here. Education was very bad here. We didn't have even malls here, so we used to go to local theater cinemas and all the stuff. But now if you see, you have most of the retail brands here. You've got good medical, I won't say at number one level, but good enough for a state like Chhattisgarh, right? Similarly, education is picking up so well. So universities like Amity and other things. Why Chhattisgarh? Why do we have IIT now here? Why do we have IIM here? Why do we have all these institutes here? It shows that this state has that potential. And the state has this potential to build and develop the brains here. And being a centrally located location, it gives them a lot of advantage connecting to the south and the north, east and west as well. So these all organization needs to work very closely with the state bodies, get some policy done with them, which is obviously a challenge in every state because every state has their different policies for businesses and other things. But then yes, a proactive government would always be there for the people, right? So start building it. It won't happen over a period of 1 year or 2 years. It's going to take at least a decade to do that. But once that mindset comes in, and with the support of the people and the students who are being educated here, the problem is all of you want to go study here, but you want to go to Bangalore, you want to go to Delhi, you want to go to Hyderabad. Nobody wants to stay back in Raipur. Why? Because you feel that what's there for me in Raipur, or what's there for me in Chhattisgarh, what salary I would get here. That's not the mindset, Once the whole concept changes, and then there are people around in the state, there are good people around here who are always there to support them to build these setups, So once that thing starts happening, you'll see a major change. And then you'll see that the whole system is developed itself, that you don't need to anything else. That's the point.
True. And with that, I think the state has been supporting.
Yes, the state is pretty proactive, and they have been, they've actually reserved a lot of lands for ancillaries for multi sectors. So not only they have a land reserve for IT sector, they have a land reserve for electronic sector, they have a land reserve for MSMEs, small scale industries. So state is doing their bit. It's just that the people need to start get more motivated and to start focusing. No, we need to do something here now. So once that thing starts coming into mind, I could have always set up this electric vehicle plant in Hyderabad. That's the most convenient location for me, because IT is there, technology is there, everything is there. And 70% of my components have been manufactured around that side, but I'm still doing it here. Why? The only reason is I want to utilize my local resources here. I want to build an ecosystem around that thing. I might not do four-wheelers right now. I might not do buses right now, but maybe who knows, 10 years down the line, I might create a complete electric vehicle segment here. So once you start thinking about it, the mindset changes. That's how you build it.
Absolutely. So just to add to that, just to update you students, we have an ITES policy from the state government here in Chhattisgarh, which gives a lot of incentives for starting your own ITES company here, and electronics also. In fact, there's an electronics SEZ in Naya Raipur. So it gives you a lot of incentives in terms of rental, land premium, hiring benefits,
capital subsidies.
Exactly.
Yeah, so GST benefits. So once you start thinking about those lines, and everything is available online. There's a government portal. You can always go through that, research the policies, what are there, and then start processing yourself where exactly you want to head.
Yes. There is in fact a single window clearance system being developed by CHIPS here in Raipur. So a lot of things happening from the government side as well. It's just that we need to be aware of that and, have that sense of belongingness towards our state and do something here, whether you want to work here or start something of your own here. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So coming to Tarang, you've been associated with Young Indians for so long now, and directly, meeting youth, whether it is through the Yuva vertical with colleges or through Thaler with the school students. You've seen, you've interacted with them on a very regular basis, and how things are moving. So, but still, in India, I think there has been a mindset with people, of that they want to be a job seeker and not job creator, probably. That mindset, I think still there. What do you think? Is it changing? And how can we address that challenge of changing the mindset of the youth or their parents, maybe from being a job seeker to job creator, or even a self-employed person?
So Ritesh, to the students here as well, and I'm sure the rest of the panel also believes that this entire ecosystem and this landscape is changing significantly now. We have kidpreneurs who are coming through, students in school who've come up with viable projects and products that are out there in the market. You know your peers, college students, etc. There are entrepreneurship and innovation cells in each of the colleges and universities where colleges are now supporting students to pursue their startups, pursue their business interests without compromising on their academic knowledge as well. So this landscape is definitely changing. The mindset, the other esteemed panelists also spoke about it. We are coming to a phase where it is okay to let go of that safety blanket. Why do we become a job seeker when we are thinking of a safety blanket, when we are thinking of a security? Now, this young Indian, the young Indian sitting in this audience today, they are not worried about safety. They will go out and achieve what they want to, knowing that they are capable of doing it. Their skill set is getting enhanced. Their access to knowledge, something that we spoke about, is getting multiplied, right? These guys are there to take that accelerated risk. A lot of you during your commerce or economics classes study the risk return curve, right? That is where you have to go. In fact, when we speak about a job seeker is someone who will think about Industry 4.0. A job creator will think about Industry 5.0. It's already there. The next phase of industrial revolution is already there. That is at the cusp, and you guys will be leading it. Technology is always an enabler. It requires people, it requires humans, it requires cognitive systems to come together and actually make that work. Technology will always be only an enabler. It will be a force multiplier. The force will be with you. The force is you. I've seen this landscape change over the last at least 7-8 years since I've been interacting actively with the school and the college students. I'm sure the rest of the panelists will also agree with the same. You know, the entire thought process, the psyche across society is changing now. And the drivers, I think Alok spoke about the median age being 27. We speak about India's demographic dividend being there. Being this land, being this country, and being this sectoral audience, I'm sure the next wave of entrepreneurs will come from tier 2, tier 3 cities, will come from our urban pockets, will come from our rural areas, because they have a desire to deliver above and beyond what anyone has ever thought of. That's what my steadfast belief is, into these people sitting here, into their friends, into their societies, and back at their homes. Thanks.
Very well said, Tarang. So, Dr. Pandey, if we talk about the role of academia, and leading universities like Amity and other ones, especially in the developing that entrepreneurial ecosystem, so what do you think has these institutes been doing, and what is their role in developing this mindset right from the beginning when the students are in the colleges, and what support do you provide to the students for taking that to the next level and not just giving them the platform to take jobs and get placed?
Very nice question. And in fact, I'm really very happy to have heard these three wonderful panelists, because they are bringing the other side of the story. We are the academia, and I have been associated with this education industry that way since 35 years. I remember when my first batches were there earlier, I'll say early 5 years or 10 years. The only thing they used to talk was how to crack a particular examination. It could be IES, it could be UPSC, it could be any kind of competitive examination was one of the biggest talking point and preparation point for the students. That was around 10 years back, the first 10 years. The second 10 years, I remember, it started to move more towards going abroad. I've seen it very perceptibly that next 10 years, most of the students used to prepare for GRE, TOEFL, and wondering about what kind of opportunities, how they can go abroad, and that kind of thing was there. But since this last, in fact, I'll somewhat exactly not 10 years, but let's say 10 to 15 years, I must say, But in this third phase, which I can see now, is that entrepreneurial wave has started to take place. And I must tell that within last 3 to 4, or let's say less 5 years or so, or 2010 onward, what I feel that India is also changing. Whatever entrepreneurship which we used to think about, now it can be a reality. And what is there which I feel, because I have been dealing with the student, I myself was a student like you at one point of time. I know as a student, you must be having many doubts in yourself, many, kind of apprehensions in your mind. When you hear this big successful people speaking about having a industry and going for vertical integration, all big, this thing, you feel, mere like hai ki nahi, whether I'll be able to do it or not. That kind of apprehensions also may be coming, mind. But remember what Siddharth ji was telling very nicely, very correctly. Having only the raw material is not enough. Like, for example, if having only raw material would have been sufficient, then Africa would have been the richest part of the whole world. Because there's no other part of the world which is having as rich as the mineral resources, which is, you name the resource, name any mineral, and it would be there in maximum quantity in Africa. But why Africa is the poorest part of the whole world, the poorest continent of the world? Because Africans are unable to convert that wealth into any viable product. They're only serving as a raw material supplier. And mostly Africa is being manipulated by most of the developed nations. They keep their puppet governments there, military governments and all that, and they seek to extract the raw materials only. And no growth, no progress. One of the poorest nations, hungriest nations of the world are in Africa. I'll take the same analogy to Chhattisgarh. That if the Chhattisgarh wanted to progress, the whole process of Chhattisgarh revolution I also have seen from my own eyes, because Bhilai steel plant, when it came to Chhattisgarh, that was one of the first, beginning of the story of the industrialization of Chhattisgarh. Otherwise, before BSP, I must say there's nothing was prevailing in Chhattisgarh. And the BSP, what Siddharth was saying is very correct. Again, I agree to concur to that, because I was in Bhilai city. The growth of ancillary industries over there, to which were supporting and supplying the raw materials right from the pin or alpin or the aprons and these to the higher technology industry. In a way, the ancillary area of Bhilai started to grow well. And the kind of, the culture which Bhilai steel plant brought to the Chhattisgarh, that was responsible for growth of Raipur also. In fact, that awareness which Bhilai could bring, that came to Raipur, and Raipur also has taken out very properly and being situated in a very proper location to utilize the resources. The entrepreneurial stream which started in Bhilai, say Raipur, has again now made Raipur as one of the business capital of the whole India. You might not be knowing, the prices of the iron and steel is decided in Raipur city. Whatever Raipur city decides, the whole nation starts to use this one. Earlier, I think that was with Govindgarh. Earlier, that distinction was the Govindgarh. Govindgarh used to decide the prices of what is the selling price and this one. Now it is decided at Raipur. So that credit for this transformation goes to the entrepreneurial skills of the Chhattisgarh people, and particularly to these, in fact, the wonderful people who, in fact, second and third generations who are sitting over here. I know their founders also. I have seen that the kind of thing which they started with a very little knowledge, but the way, it's very important for success that first the wars are not fought on the field only. The wars are first fought in your mind, in your heart. When you win the war at your heart, in your mind, then only you can be successful in the field. So for becoming successful, what is really needed is that, first of all, we as an academia, as the teachers who are here, the faculty members and the student, first of all, we have to realize that we can really contribute a great capital to the whole process. That is the human mind. Without human mind, nothing can work. The raw material and all that, like Africa, it will remain Africa unless we are able to convert that into viable product, and going for the, not only for primary industry, we need to have the primary industry, secondary industry, and tertiary industry. That is what is the need for Chhattisgarh to become. We are not the most developed state of the India at the moment. We are at a lower level, in spite of having a huge, mineral wealth and power and all. What not is here in Chhattisgarh? Water is there, power is there, people are here, wonderful, talent is here, everything is here. But still, we are not the most developed state. Why? Because we are still mostly in the primary to secondary industry level only. Tertiary, we cannot name, in fact, one of the few things which Hira Group has started, that could be, some of them may be falling in tertiary level. But as a product, nothing our industries, very few industries are making, which can go directly into the market and to be sold. That is what is the product of the tertiary industry. So that tertiary industry stage we need to reach. And for reaching that, obviously, first of all, students need to decide that what opportunities are there. You have to need to explore that what opportunities are there, what you can do. See, your family income may be X today. If you want to make it 10X or 100X tomorrow, then you have to think differently. You have to need to think out of box. If you think only for, say, getting a meager salary of, say 50,000, even that may be very high to begin with. When you come out, it would be hardly 10 to 15,000 in the beginning for some level of the jobs. So if you want to remain between, say, 1 lakh rupees only, then the job is an option. But if you want to make it, 10 times, 100 times higher, then you have to think of something else. For that, initially, obviously, struggle will be there. For that, in fact, what we are doing as an academy, I must tell that we try to imbibe this kind of a thing in our curriculum also, in our faculty member, through our incubation cells and our CRC teams. We are trying to propagate more and more, but still we need support from you. And I'm really happy that you are here, because this more interaction with you and the people, the student, is very much needed. So with this, I'm very sure that future can be very bright for our state of Chhattisgarh.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey. So I agree to your points. And in fact, over the past few years, so I've been associated with the Yuva Vertical and Young Indians. So I myself has seen that change in institutes, that every institute today has an e-cell which promotes entrepreneurship. So 10, 15 years ago, when we were in our colleges through graduation or post-graduation, there were no e-cell at that point of time. There were learning cells, there were innovation cells, there were corporate interaction cells, but there was no e-cell. It used to happen in IITs, maybe IIMs, but not in each city, local universities and colleges. So that change has happened over the past 10, 15 years, and that has helped develop that entrepreneurial mindset in the students right from the college days itself. That's a very good point, an initiative taken by, I think, institutes across. So over to you, Gaurav. As an angel investor, you've been associated with a lot of angel network through across the country, and you've been investing in new age companies. So do you think that tech has been a preferred area of investment for you? Do you think tech plays a very major role when you screen any startup for investing, or you think there are other factors also? Tech is just one of them.
Yeah, great question. I mean, would like to clear the fad here about tech as the business or the sector that people want to get into. I mean, tech is just an enabler. Tech helps you solve problems wherein 10 people are involved. It can be done with maybe two people or something, but it's not gonna solve a major problem out there. It's not gonna disrupt an industry out there. Tech is not the solution. I mean, the business problem is different, and that business problem has to be solved, and that is done by a business sense of ownership and driving that business, basically. So how these guys started off, if you look at Flipkarts of India, they're all ex-Amazon guys. They worked in Amazon, they shaved off businesses, created those small businesses into big businesses into India, because Amazon was an outside company. And today India marks, they promote Make in India. The India government has this major initiative of Make in India, wherein they promote local entrepreneurs, they promote local principles, they promote local policies. wherein FDIs aren't allowed to invest into e-commerce up to a certain level. After 24% or something, they're not allowed to invest into e-commerce. So you have to think in the lines of what is the business model which is already running out somewhere. How can you integrate that? How can you get that into our local directive? How can you make something in India and create it for our country, for 1.2 billion people? I mean, it's a massive opportunity out here. So tech is not a solution. In fact, there's been reports that say that tech only plays around 27% of the role into anyone's business. That's the major constitution of tech into any business. I mean, rest is all your work, all your mind. It's all teamwork. It's all sales. It's your problem solving capabilities. So tech is just a small part of it. You see a lot of companies like Bajaj Finance and these lending companies, they go to consumer for small retail loans. I mean, financials, fintech companies have disrupted the entire financial landscape of India today. Students like you, ranging from the age of 18 to 24, you can get loans without any credit card. I mean, there are a lot of buy now, pay later category companies coming out there. How they're assessing your profile, how they're writing those algorithms, how they're making your credit risk. I mean, it is phenomenal. And how whatever you're shopping online, from small pencil to rubber to whatever you're shopping, is all being tracked, and how these companies are using that and getting you loans out there. It is phenomenal. So India, I think, is at the forefront of a lot of these major problem solving. I was in the US some time back. In fact, UPI that we have in India, the financial systems that we have in India, it's nowhere in the world. I mean, you can just pay through your phone anywhere. You don't need to carry your card as well. Nowhere in the world has this sort of financial integration that India has. So government has done a major role. I think I'll give a huge credit to the current government, the Make in India program, which is facilitating a lot of businesses and a lot of entrepreneurs in the country. I mean, we should be thankful and we should be grateful that we are in this decade here today and we have this opportunity to grab it in our hands. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Gaurav. So I think before I move on to the students for asking for the first agenda question and answers, I will just conclude this session by just giving a couple of points what I could draw from the discussion. And that is that, first of all, I think what the panel could agree to that was India has always had that entrepreneurial mindset and genes in always, whether it is a villager or somebody who comes from the urban part of the country, they've always been looking for being self-independent, and also whenever they get a chance, they look for options for job creation as well. But especially over the past decade or so, I think I think we are in the best of the times today for this country ever, wherein if somebody wants to start, you don't need a penny to start a company. I think today there are a lot of platforms, accelerators, incubators, right from the college days. It's already available. There are a lot of funding platforms available for you. You just need an idea and a good team and the right mindset and courage to start off your own if you want to be an entrepreneur or even a self-employed. There are a lot of freelancers today earning in millions, just by creating some good content in YouTubes or Instagrams. So I think you just need to differentiate yourselves, or maybe even if you're a follower, you have to be that strong in that skills which you're trying to explore, and just be your best self. And I think if you do that, you can definitely shift yourself from being a job seeker to a job creator. So that is what I think is the conclusion for this discussion. I think we can have a couple of questions from the audience if somebody has, please.
Very good morning to all of you, and very thought-provoking discussion this first session. Few questions which are coming to my mind. First thing is that do we need to involve parents also in this shift of paradigm? Because parents are the one who motivate the students and who decides all the time that what my ward is going to do. So as Honorable Vice Chancellor has suggested that students, as from our part, we are doing our things. But then I feel that parents are also required. If something comes from the panel, that can be taken into consideration, as this will be going to a part of a policy. Second thing is, what is the roadmap that the mindset of Chhattisgarh is going to change from the heavy metals to the coal to the other industry? Is there is a roadmap which is there? There are a couple of questions. Sorry if I'm asking too many things. Okay, sure.
So the first one regarding the parents thing, yeah. So it's very important. Parents are the true guiders, you know. So as a young child, you know, when you are 18, 19, 20, and in fact you've reached that age, so there's been a lot of processes going in your head. When I was 14, I wanted to become a professional cricketer. When I turned 16, I wanted to become a musician. When I went 18, I wanted to become an engineer. When I turned 20, I wanted to become something else. So the focus shifts, you know, because there's so many things happening around us. There's so many things. Sorry.
So can you do the follow-up today? Prashant Dhaliwal hai.
So okay, no worries. So you know, so there's a lot of things that keeps on happening around us, and today's world is a very open world.
So
You
when
know,
I
so
was
you
saying
really see everything. Nothing
it
is
will be
hidden.
mainly on
Everything is there in front of your eyes. So
what we are
Google
going to
helps
do
you.
throughout
A
the
lot
year.
of other institutions
We set the panel
show you a
and
lot
what
of
all activities
parents
we
play a very
expect you to do.
important role here. So they
वो आपके पास फॉर्मेट है ना सर फर्स्ट स्टेट काउंसिल मीटिंग सेकंड स्टेट काउंसिल हाँ वो बना फर्स्ट में अपन नहीं दिया ना हाँ तो फिर सेकंड में
technology takes over. That's a classic example. Good one. Yeah. So parents are the key guiders, you know. So and
और उसके
never,
बाद फिर तब ठीक नहीं है तो सरकार जैसे देखिए मैं उसके वो चाहिए
so and never feel shy to speak to your parents, because you know what happens is you get scared. You don't want to share your thoughts. Your father must be into something, but you don't want to get into the same business, or you don't want to get into the same profile. But you feel that if I share it with my father, you know, he's going to get angry. He's going to say, "Aisa nahi hota, wo nahi hota, this is not right, this is not correct." But you should always talk about it. So communication is a very important part, and communicating with parents is the best thing you can ever do. So trust me, you will have a lot of people suggesting you a lot of things. You will have a lot of people teaching you a lot of things. But if you can really talk to your parents about whatever you're thinking and whatever you want to achieve in life, they can be the best persons to hold your hand. So parents do play a very important role. So I still take a lot of advice from my father. I actually still work under him, in the sense, you know, I really don't take any major decisions of my life without consulting him. So communication really helps me to grow within. So please do that. That's going to really help everybody. Thanks.
Just to add on to that, you know, parents, what I feel is that in your life, whatever morals and values you have, you know, that is very important to recognize your own set of values and principles and morals in life. I mean, if you stick to them, that is what is going to drive you forward, no matter whatever work, whatever business you're doing. I think those core principles and values are something that you should really adhere to. And really, I mean, I'd agree with Siddharth Bhaiya here that whatever that you're doing, you should just run it across your parents once, so that they're the ones who will be very unbiased in your life's decisions, in your life's goals, and they will make sure that you're doing the right things, you're doing the ethical thing. I mean, whatever you do in life, it's very important that you make sure your ethics and principles are in place. And if you focus on your core values, I think nothing can stop you from achieving whatever you want to. So they are the most important and driving forces in your life, I guess, your core values.
So second question was shifting from core industry to other industries, right? Yeah. So Chhattisgarh is moving towards that, so the steps have started being done. Okay. So like an example of creating all these land parcels for promoting other industries, government is giving a lot of subsidies, incentives, promotions, so that's the first step already been taken. They are now inviting, looking forward for entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, old entrepreneurs to come here, establish something, and then take it to a next leap. So government wants to hold hand with you and move forward. So they are very keen on IT industries, obviously. They are very keen on automobile sector. They are very keen on converting Chhattisgarh into a very large warehousing sector, education center, medical center. So the benefit with this state is you have 7 adjoining states around it. So it's connecting to Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, Andhra, Maharashtra, and all those things, right? Most of these states are still underdeveloped as compared to Chhattisgarh as of now. So when you talk about Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, and all, their system is still on a very lower grade as compared to this state. So there's a lot of people and inflow is happening from other states to this state. And once people start moving in here, obviously new opportunities open up. So Chhattisgarh is giving them a platform. So government is being very proactive and they're giving them the direction, It's just that it's taking a little bit of time, which always happens because nothing is built over a night, there's a lot of thought processes happen. So this EV thing, it took me 4 years to actually get it on ground. So I started researching in 2019. I made at least 20 trips to China before COVID happened. And eventually in 2023, I got into EVs. It took me almost 4 years to develop this industry around here. So the process is there. The systems are in place now. So I think next 5 years or so, you'll see a lot of industrial shift happening around here.
So this leads to the second question, which is like, yes, I have visited your EV plant in Naya Raipur. It is very beautiful to see that EV has been rolling on the roads. And the second question is like, where, if CII, if we talk about, so what is the active contribution of CII to create this kind of ecosystem over here? And the second question is there something like we have been falling or lacking between this industrial revolution 2 or 3, where you rank, like, are we really prepared for 4, or there is some gap still which is existing, and how CII will help us in fulfilling this gap? Thank you.
So CII's basic role is to, closely work with all the industrial bodies. It includes all sectors, not only related to core sector, it includes all sectors. And they work very closely with the state government. So they sit with them, they discuss with them. They want to understand what government mind process is going on. What is their next plan, 5-year plan they want to work on? How does CII contribute with collaborating with all the different industries and to achieve those targets? So normally CII have plans over 5 years, then break down into 3 years, then you have a year plan. So you keep on continuing that, so it's an ongoing process. So CII has been here for more than 2-3 decades now. So if you've seen the growth of Chhattisgarh in the last couple of decades, it's been a lot of joint effort with the CII and other organizations as well. It's not only about CII, there are other major organizations in Chhattisgarh. So everybody's playing their roles with the government and ensuring that the entrepreneurship is built over the period of time. We encourage a lot of young entrepreneurs. We encourage a lot of new ideas and thoughts. We promote a lot of people. We get a lot of people connected to each other. So we kind of, we are a communication centers in the sense. So if you have some issues, you come to us, we go to the concerned departments, we revert, we do joint meetings, we try and ensure that the issues are resolved, or we come to a contingency. So it's a joint effort with a lot of people involved into it. It's a national body. We are the state body here. And there are definitely some issues which can always be taken up to the national level. So there's a protocol of the same as well, So if there's something that is happening at the national level, but we believe that it's not happening at Chhattisgarh, we can always go up down to Delhi and we can tell them, boss, we need this stuff here also, so you please coordinate and start moving the things around here also. So it's a collaboration of lot of minds together with the stalwarts of the industries across the country, So it does a lot of things that way. Yeah. Sorry, you missed your second question. That was 2.0 and 3.0 and 4, right? So Chhattisgarh is gearing up for it. Obviously, it's not fully ready right now. It would take time, but I'm sure with a lot of new thought processes and the mindset changing in the current industry, like Gaurav mentioned. So he's the hot angel investor from Chhattisgarh right now, you know. So people have started thinking otherwise. So core industries is there. It's always going to be there because it's the culture here. But the technology shift is being adapted. It's been adapted in every industry. So core industry, hospitality, service industry. So the shift is happening and it will happen. But as I mentioned, it's not going to happen overnight. So give it time, give it its own pace. In some states, you might see it picking up in probably a year's time. Chhattisgarh might take 2 years, 2.5 years to do that. But it's not going to be behind with anybody else. So Chhattisgarh has come to a position where they'll walk hands in hand with all the adaptations that's going to have in the industry going forward.
Thank you. So I think we have one more agenda to take, so we are running out of time. So we'll have to directly move to that. We can take again questions later. So the second agenda for today is employability for youth. So this is something which is opposite of what we discussed in the first, wherein we talked more about job creation, and now we talk about how to be a better or a good, employee. So a general question for first of all to start with everyone, how do we ensure, especially for those students who do not have access to very high quality education, and because most of our masses lives in the villages and rural sector, and they usually do not have access to very high quality education, especially for the new age industries like industry 4.0, if you talk about tech and data analytics and all those kind of industries. So how do we ensure that those youth or those students who are there in the rural part of the country or get the right skills, to match themselves to be a good, and become employable for this kind of sector, especially because there are crores of students lying there, and they need to be trained for that, right? So how do we do that? Tarang, you want to start?
So I'll start with a good morning once again, because I see a few people nodding off. So Ritesh, with regards to education being accessible by all, I believe technology, when we speak about it, it's a massive leveler. It is a great leveler. Understand what I'm trying to say? Technology has taken away boundaries in terms of what is limited to Amity, what is limited to IIM, what is limited to any other institution, Raipur, Bemitra, Berla, wherever that you talk about. Technology has broken all boundaries. It has helped democratize education. Education today, in terms of what you would want to consume, is accessible by all. Today, we see even startups like, say, PhysicsWallah, that has come from almost a tier 3 city, right? Focused on education, it is thriving, it is profitable, and it is, again, one of the top startups to be reckoned with across the world. So that's nothing that is ever going to stop us, right? Today, all of us have a mobile phone on us at all times. A lot of people, our default position is this, and that is okay. But just imagine the amount of time you spend scrolling every day, maybe group chats, maybe reels, wherever. If you spend a portion of it reading, if you spend a portion of it investing in yourself, use the same phone. Just gain some knowledge for yourself, invest in yourself. I think that's going to be the biggest return that can possibly be there, right? Education today is not limited. Education today is not limited to what you get in classrooms. It is what you imbibe all around. Classroom education is important, but you have to go above and beyond that, right? You have to seek avenues. You have to find everything is out there. How can you grasp it? How can you make it better? On your phone itself, can you take out 10 minutes to read something that is of your interest? Siddharji spoke about finding that thing that excites you, that interests you. Gaurav spoke about how people today are, commenting on video games and minting money. Find what is your purpose, find what is that excites you. It is available for you online. It is available for you at the tap of a button, at the click of a mouse. It's just for you to go out and get it. So I think technology has broken all barriers with regards to education. It has massively democratized any access that may be there. It's all up to us as to how we make use of it. Thank you.
Very well point made, Tarang. So, Dr. Pandey, if we talk about, so we've often seen that industries and employers many times complain to the universities or in general to the education sector that the students coming out of the colleges or universities are not job ready. They're not having the right skill to be ready to get on the job, and they have to invest a lot of money in training them for 3 months, 6 months, and then once they learn, they just leave so quickly. So how do you address that challenge in a university wherein you want to make sure that the students coming out are having the right skills for the current industry?
This is a very important and very good question. And in fact, before coming to dais, I was talking to Grawal Sahab, this issue only, Siddharji, that what really is the problem which they are facing. And he told me very clearly that it is very difficult to get good engineers working for them. And the engineers, even if they employ whatever salary, very soon they leave and they have become more or less a training center. This is what he told me as a feedback. And in fact, I'm being associated with the engineering institutions since very long. I really agree with this particular point that this has become a major problem. Not now only, rather since so many years this problem is coming. That really, and particularly after COVID, this problem has become, I think, even more acute. That, success is something, it cannot be achieved in an overnight. Success has to be worked upon day in, day out, for a continuous consistency is very much required. Unless you are consistent in your, first of all, learning, developing yourself, then only you can become billionaire. Everyone wants to become a billionaire. But to become a billionaire, it requires a lot of, inputs also. First of all, that is very much required I must say that as an education institution, we are trying, but I won't say that we are always very successful. Because, the child's mind, the children's, our students who are sitting over here, they are subject to information bombardment. The kind of information which they are having now, right now. In fact, I could see some of them are still accessing their mobile phone right here. So what is the problem is that, we have a constant bombardment of the information is there. Constant distractions are there. And due to those distractions, many times students are unable to decide what really is good for them. Even for a smaller gain, they tend to, switch the job and go for somewhere else and all that. But this way, rolling stone gathers no moss. That is a problem which you need to understand. We need to inculcate in our student also, and as a factory, when they become employee also. The development of the overall quality requires, it takes time. So we need to invest into that. And for that, becoming, first of all, aware of, like, for example, South India, like Siddharji was saying that South India is doing very well. Why South India is doing very well in fact, they don't have raw material. Most of the South Indian states, they don't have any raw material. Most of the raw material or the primary products is coming from this Chhattisgarh or Odisha or Jharkhand or these kind of states only. How's they're able to utilize it? I give the example of Japan. Japan is having no coal. Japan is having no iron ore. Japan is having no dolomite, nothing. No raw material, nothing is there. They don't even have the land to establish the industry. But the world's finest steel is made in the Japan only. The world's finest watches are made in Switzerland, which they don't have any iron and steel industry. So the thing is that it's not really important to have this thing, raw material. Very important is to have the brain to utilize it and the people who are willing to do it. So you as a student, I'm taking advantage of this forum to convey to you also that become, first of all, focus in your mind. Whatever we want to achieve, you can achieve. Whatever you want to become, you can become, provided you are consistent on that. Consistency is very much required. So for our faculty members, and we are trying to do that. But of course, our task is challenged by so many distractions also. So certainly that is a problem. And as far as I'll comment on that, the parent part, which he was saying, certainly parents do have a positive or negative influence. Both are there. Because यदि सचिन को उनके फादर ने क्रिकेट नहीं खेलने दिया होता, रोक दिया होता, तो आज हमारे पास सचिन जैसा बैट्समैन नहीं हुआ होता. So in fact, the parents, if they stop you, then obviously that will become a negative, this handicap. But on the other hand, it's a responsibility on you student also to educate your parent nowadays, because they had studied in a long back, and their exposure to that what is happening in the world may be less than what you are having. Because I am the father of 2 grown-up children, so I know in certain areas they know much more than me. Some certain areas they are able to guide me. So that kind of a relationship you need to develop with your own your parents. Then only I think it can be taken up. So on the part of our faculty as well academy also, we need to do more. And but of course we are trying to do this in this possible manner.
Thank you. So, Gaurav, so I noticed that, and I found that you've been leading in your group, you've been leading that transformation from being a traditional, old thought organization to a more automated and digital operations. And you're leading that initiative, looking after all those IT and analytics, etc. So how do you make sure that, so earlier you used to have the traditional employee base having not the right new age skills, and now you are implementing that. So you must be needing, the new age talent and new age skills, people with that. So how are you managing that? How are you addressing that challenge and hiring people with the right skills?
Yeah, very
Building a
very
good
good
team.
question. I think most important part is your target. What do you plan to achieve out of that automation you're doing? There has to be a target. Let's say you have to double your business, you have to double your profit in 3 years. How is that technology or automation going to lead you there? What kind of role is it playing? So that target setting, that goal setting is very crucial, for anything, even in your business projects or in your business plans that you make. That goal setting has to be very specifically defined. You can't just say कि 3 साल में तो I can do, I'll see my business double. But what is doubling? Your profit or your top line or your EBITDA? What do you want to double? You have to be very specific out of the goal that you're deriving. So first important part, I think, is goal setting. And then you have to see what technology and how much of technology is important in that can lead you there. So it is very imperative, I think, in terms of hiring the right talent. So when I started off in my organization, things used to go through ERPs and SAPs in a very statutory manner. And then I realized a lot of areas where a lot of automation could have been done. And then I started setting up small goals, small goals, one goal at a time. And then I tried to set up bigger goals in the company, because anywhere you go, if you're working in a different organization, you go up to your head and seniors and you try to suggest them a solution or a problem. They always take up with a lot of resistance. They just can't take it directly. So that resistance change, how to mitigate that, how many people to involve, how to work with it, when to work with it is very important. I mean, that really taught me that how you have to set up a team, what kind of people you need to involve into the team, and what kind of directives you have to follow in terms of implementing the change. So I started off by finding, let's say, a local IT developer here, making a good IT team out of the company. But my core business is into steel and power. We're not an IT company. So finding the talent was a little difficult in this region, to be very honest. We found a few people who worked with us, but then they did it on a project basis and then they left. Then what I realized was there is a transactional cost to the company. There are things that you can do within the organization, and there are things that people you can hire to do from outside the organization. So how much is that transactional cost I am willing to take today? So it is not my core. It is not my core idea to develop a software or to develop an engine that is going to solve my problem. Rather, I'll go look out for solutions or an implementation partner outside. So we made a team of IT head, business development head, I myself from the management, and then we hired an implementation partner and we worked with them hand to hand. So today, I think there lies a big opportunity amongst you guys in a lot of problems that we as industry are facing. We as industry are having it in our day-to-day businesses that you can solve. And we always seeking it out there with the right implementation partners. So I think the change has to come from, like Tarang rightly said, has to be coming from you, your values, what you see in yourself. I like to work with a little bit of fun, a little bit of learning, a little bit of traveling, a little bit of, so these are my core values, and where I fit into these, I try to derive where I fit all these values and I make my work accordingly. So you have to find your values where you and your values lie, and then you have to work accordingly. Everything is accessible out there. Like, you know, what you're accessing, I can also access, and anyone in the world can also access. So information is not hidden much out there. I mean, it's 90%, it's out there. It's up to you how to make use of it. And I'm sure there's a big opportunity in Chhattisgarh itself. I see a lot of companies. I've invested into a few companies from Chhattisgarh who are based out of Raipur. Companies like Mokobara that does a lot of travel luggages and suitcases and stuff. They're competing with the likes of VIP Industries now. There's a company called Rento Mojo, which does a lot of furniture rentals. Now they're based out of Bangalore. They moved out. So, I mean, they didn't have any infrastructure. They didn't need any infrastructure in Chhattisgarh. Everything they did was online. They, on a click of a button, they had their supply chain systems ready. They had their designing team ready. They had their production team ready outside there in China. They imported stuff and they created a business model out of it. I mean, you will have to identify what is it that where you fit in, what is it that you want to do, and who do you want to work with. I mean, the growth, I think, is not linear. I mean, if you put in 8 hours of work and you expect that same 8 hours of work is going to derive the same amount of output, I don't think so it's possible. A Kirana Dukan guy working 8 hours a day, and if you're working 8 hours, I mean, the outputs are very non-linear, very different. So you have to sprint, you have to grab the opportunity, then you have to reassess, and then you have to sprint again. So it's a feedback loop that you have to keep on working on. So it's very important that from academics perspective, you keep on learning a lot. Reading and learning, investing in yourself is the only thing that's gonna, I mean, for us as well at our age, at any age, I think learning is the most crucial part. You have to reskill, reassess, and redevelop you have to unlearn and learn, you know. So no one's gonna come and teach you how to run a business or what to do. So it's all into you, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you made a very valid point when you said that there's a lot of challenge with the local industry faces, and you don't find a solution locally, and then you look after for some vendors outside of Raipur, maybe from Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So there's a lot of opportunity existing even for, I would say, not just for a agency, but also for students doing a lot of freelancing, and as an expert in certain skills, they can provide services as a freelancer also. And I'm sure that many of the industry people look for such skills locally as well, because that comes at a very reasonable cost if you compare it with the established agency outside of Raipur. So last couple of questions from the panel, I think. So Mr. Siddharth, I think, so you run Central India as one of the largest business houses, and, you know, you hire a lot of people, you have a very huge team. So how do you make sure that you get the right talent, and are you able to manage that right kind of skills and talent from the local institutes and local colleges and local, you know, laterals, experienced people, or you struggle to find the right talent and you have to go out of Raipur and Chhattisgarh for that?
So this is the most difficult part of industry right now, you know, frankly. So let me ask you guys only, who wants to work on field, who wants to sit on a AC room and work? Field guys, जो धूप में निकल के काम करना चाहता है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sort of 100, we have 5. That's the challenge. You know, what is happening is for us or for any industry, the innovations is good, but adaptability is gone to a very strange level, in the sense, I pass out, I want to become an entrepreneur, I wanted to start up a company, I'll get funding for the same, but I don't want to learn anything. Where does the learning, actual learning come from? It comes from the respective fields you're working on. So in the sense, if I'm an engineer, I rather work for a year or 2 years, understand my core engineering, because whatever theoretically has been taught, it's not necessary, it's applied on the field as well, you know. So theory goes, it's a subject. Engineering subject is being prolonged for same. So if what I studied 20 years back and what they are studying now, you won't see a much of difference in the course, you know. Maybe some words have changed, some technologies changed, some new adaptation has come, but the core is core. So how do you actually get to the strength of it? So your field experiences really needs to be there. Challenge happens is when they say, sir, हम ऑफिस में बैठे हैं, हमें 50-60 हज़ार की एक IT कंपनी ने ऑफर किया हुआ है, अब मैं आपके यहाँ 15,000 रुपए में क्यों काम करूं? They need to realize, you guys need to realize that 15,000 is not the amount that we are paying to you. It's the amount that we are paying to train you. In the sense, it's not only 15,000 goes from our pocket. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind the company, you know. So there's a lot of training that happens on you guys. There's a lot of learning that happens on you guys. There's a lot of security that needs to be done on your behalf. There's a lot of mandates that needs to be done with the government bodies. So it's not, the cost to company is not only 15,000. The cost to company might be more than 1 lakh on you. But then that experience that you gain from us, from working for these companies at a lower salary, would ensure that if you get focused moving forward in life, you can become an entrepreneur and you can have your own startups. Because if you think, मैंने theoretically मैंने सब कुछ सीख लिया है और अब मैं एक प्रोडक्ट डेवलप कर सकता हूँ, उसको मैं स्टार्टअप में कन्वर्ट कर सकता हूँ और मुझे उसके गौरव फंडिंग कर देगा, वो नहीं होगा, वो कभी नहीं होगा. You search across all the startups. Every startup company has its own process. Every entrepreneur has gone through a process of learning. हर बंदे ने कभी ना कभी कहीं ना कहीं किसी ना किसी इंडस्ट्री में अपने अपने फील्ड में काम किया है. वहां से उसको ये समझ में आया होगा, he would have learned कि where are the challenges are and what innovation I can do now. So एक प्रोडक्ट होगा जिसको उसने इनोवेट करके better for that company को डेवलप किया होगा. अब उसे लगा कि ये कंपनी को जब फायदा हुआ है तो ऑब्वियसली सबको फायदा होगा. तब उसने उस प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट में लेके आया, उसको एक ग्लोबल कंपनी बना दी, नेशनल कंपनी बना दी, उसको स्टार्टअप में कन्वर्ट कर दी. सो इट्स अ प्रोसेस. आज के चैलेंजेस हम ये फेस करते हैं कि बॉस इंजीनियर्स तो आना ही नहीं चाहते, उनको तो सीधा चाहिए 60,000, 70,000, 1 लाख की सैलरी चाहिए, उसमें भी रायपुर नहीं चाहिए, उनको बॉम्बे चाहिए, हैदराबाद चाहिए, दिल्ली चाहिए. वो कभी ये नहीं समझते हैं कि कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग हियर एंड द कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग इन बॉम्बे, if I pay them 50 grand in Bombay, some company is paying, if I'm paying 15 grand here, what is the net saving they're having in their pockets? They never evaluate that. Cost of living in Bombay is very high, Hyderabad is very high, Bangalore is very high, any other major city is very high. The expenditure increases, the food cost, the rent cost, the electricity cost, everybody goes up. So net in net, what do they save month on month basis? Probably a peanut. And not necessarily they learn what exactly they've been there to. But core industries like us, other industries around the state, they give the core knowledge and they ensure the social responsibility of the employees. So we have, I think all the industries here, the old industries here, they have very senior level employments which have been with us for 30 years, 35 years now. They could have easily moved out to any of the companies like Tatas and JSWs and, but why are they still here? Because they have seen the growth. They've seen the growth with the company. They've seen the growth for themselves. They've seen the growth of the family. So the thought process needs to change. So the learning has to come from the core. There has to be a process which needs to be followed, which everybody's trying to jump it to the level 3. So from 1, they directly want to go to 3. From 3, they want to go to 5. From 5, they want to go to 10. They want to skip the ladder. If that starts happening very fast, then it's going to be a challenge for everybody. Unemployment is going to increase eventually. A lot of people are going to just start thinking about their own businesses. 90% businesses currently are not successful in startups. Check your Google, check your data. Starting a startup, operating it, managing it, and then converting into a company is a very, very difficult process, So a lot of learning is needed. So don't have a pre-mindset ki nahi boss, mujhe to yahi karna hai. Have a thought process, keep it free. Keep learning, as Gaurav and Tarang was mentioning. Learning is always there. But then a live experience of everything is also very important with learning. We have started employing diploma holders. They're very happy people. And they are very, very dedicated people. They work 12 hours shift. They want to learn more because they believe they don't have a tag of a higher degree. That doesn't mean that they are not capable as you guys are. They are equally capable. It's just that they did not have that extra edge over you guys. But then all these industrial trainings, all other trainings give them that additional edge. And eventually they might even succeed you guys. So that's the challenge we all industries are facing. So we are happy to employ every year hundreds of students, work with them closely. A lot of industries does that. Almost every industry does that. But eventually at the end, we see only 5 or 6 are left with us. Rest is all gone in a year's time. But those 5 and 6 are the new generation growth of the industrial sector coming down 5 years down the line. And probably out of those 6, 3 might even have a startup going forward and may even succeed on the same. Because they are learning the practicality of the challenges on the operations of any industries. And then they're coming with an innovative product with the help of this 4.0 and then giving that benefit back to the industry. So if somebody comes with a solution with a new technology with me and tells Siddhartha, भैया इसमें 5 crore का investment लगना है, but मैं आपको इससे 10 crore का फायदा करा सकता हूँ, I would definitely fund this company, right? But कोई भी एक आदमी आ जाएगा और मुझे बोलेगा भैया ये तो हमने ये किया, टेस्ट नहीं हुआ है, कुछ नहीं हुआ है, ये प्रोटोटाइप बना दिया है, अब इसको प्लीज आप फंड कर दो. So I'll have to think again and again and again.
Yeah, I think so. Very well explained. And I think the initial 3 to 5 years of any student should focus more on how they want to take their career to the next after 5 years, right? If they want to start something of their own, it is very important that they move to that industry where they actually want to start if they have a clear idea in their mind. Even if they want to work for a multinational company, it is important that rather than sitting on a bench for an IT company, you actually work for a company where you actually get that skills in the initial 3 to 5 years, and then the package can multiply. It doesn't matter, right? So start by sitting on a bench and earning 50,000 is worse than working on the field and getting 20-25,000, because you focus on the learning more, right?
No, just to add on to Siddharth Bhaiya's comment, I mean, very, very rightly said that what happens is you come up to the industry with a set expectation in your head. And then, like he said, out of 105 stay over, and then they create the next wave of industrial revolution and new startups. So, I'll give you a live example in my case as well. One of my very good employees, he joined me 4 years back, and he was straight out of college. I mean, he had 1 year of experience. He worked under me, and he worked under me for like 3 years. And after that, he got an opportunity from Off Business. This company, it's a $1 billion startup now, almost valued at $6 billion or something. And now he's heading Off Business Chhattisgarh, Chhattisgarh region for Off Business. And he's gotten some equity share into the company. So it's not that you start with metals or mining industry and you just end up there. I mean, it's just an opportunity that you have in your hand, that a local opportunity, and the growth here is phenomenal because it is not a lineage company. It's not a fixed hierarchical company. You have tremendous opportunities to grow within the organization and shave off a lot of challenges and create your own ideas and opportunities out there. So it's really out there. I mean, I felt it in my organization itself. A guy running a $1 billion startup, just worked like three years and got a great opportunity to. So I think it also has to start from academics, that it has to come on hands-on from when you're learning in your classes. It should come as internships or a free ride out there for you to work in industry. Not necessarily that you're getting paid as the first job. You can always work as an intern for 6 months, 12 months in a company, and you can definitely dedicate your time out there and understand what is it that excites you and interests you. And that should be pushed from both ends, I think, from the institute and the industry. And that is, I think, a big lag I feel in terms of a lot of research and internships that we feel is missing between the industries and the academics out here. I mean, so yeah, I think ending on that note, yeah.
Thank you, Gaurav. So I think just last question from the panel, Tarang, if you can just highlight the role of organizations such as CII or YI in imparting to the students the right skills probably, or making them, how do you think is the role of these organizations in making the students or the youth of probably job ready, or with the so fast the industry is, changing in terms of the technological capabilities, what is required from the students. So is there any role of these organizations, or how can they help these students for being the better skilled employee?
How much time do I have, Ritesh, for that question? 2 minutes? Perfect. Okay. Employability. What are we looking for? What everyone spoke about. Okay? We are looking at something which is your abilities. What are your skill sets, basic skill sets, etc. And we are also looking for what are your values, right? What are you driven by? Values is something jo bar is conversation mein aaya hai, right? The universities, the institutes are working on your first line ability, which is your degree, which is your theoretical knowledge, which is very, very important, right? Beyond that, what we need people who are decision makers. We need people who are smart in terms of critical analysis. We need people who can self-manage. Ab samajhe self-management, right? We don't want to bring people in and then have another manager put on top and telling them what to do. At all levels of the organization, right now I'm talking as an entrepreneur, we look for leaders, right? We don't want followers. Even if it's a person starting off, leadership is exhibited at all levels, right? How organizations like CII or YI help enable that is because it gives you opportunities to explore that side of you. Be it forums like this, be it learning experiences, or be it other interactions that are curated in your university, right? Often at times there are a lot of speakers, a lot of people of eminence that we call for our membership, jahan pe hum yuva students ko invite karte hain. You're always open to come, attend those sessions, interact, and that is that industry academia exposure that Sir spoke about. Those gates are always open. Gaurav mentioned internships. Today, we are looking for trainees. We are looking for interns. We are more than happy to facilitate factory visits. CII and YI is that bridge between all of these. Within the 10 people who are representative of CII, YI over here, आपका मैं चालू कर सकता हूँ रियल एस्टेट इंडस्ट्री है, आपका FMCG बिजनेस है, आपके यहाँ पे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं, आपके यहाँ पे we spoke about the mining core industries that are there already. EV is here. I am from the renewable sector. 10 different sectors, 10 different individuals who are placed over here. YI will enable you have that open door access. अगर आप YI के साथ involve होते हैं, YI में आप युवा students involve होते हैं at Amity University, right? ये जो leadership development है, the kind of people that we are looking for, इसलिए मैं वो values chain में पहुंच गया. अब मैं कह रहा हूँ abilities beyond your first line, which is just your resume. Those leaders that we are looking for, people who can manage themselves, people who have the desire to perform. YI वो platform है या CII वो platform है जो आपको enable करेगा इन सब चीजों के access के लिए. Along with your director placements, trainings, along with obviously the vice chancellor, sir, your principal as well. Ritesh is here. You know, we are working with so many universities and each and every one of them has an open door access to any industry that you want in the state of Chhattisgarh. The opportunities are right there lying for you. CII are enablers. It's all about how much you go out and make the most of it. And I speak on behalf of the panel and the 300 members of CII across the state. We'll be more than happy to facilitate it. And we look forward to having all of you join us, interact us, connect with us at any point over the course of your careers. Thank you.
Very well summed up, Tarang. Thank you so much. I think it's been a wonderful panel. Thank you everyone for your wonderful insights, thoughts for each of the questions raised. And thank you, sir, for hosting us, having us here for this wonderful Y20 session. And this is something which is a curtain raiser for G20 hosting for, India. So that's all I think from the panel side. I think we are short of time, so I will not be able to take up questions from the audience further. So that is all from the panel, I think. Maybe we can. Yeah, please.
Just one line I'll add. to the as a sum up. Jagjit Singh's ghazal is there. दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है, मिल जाए तो मिट्टी है, खो जाए तो सोना है. This applies to you and us also. Whatever opportunities and facilities which we are having, we need to value it. We need to take a maximum out of it to make most of it, and that too in the time when we can do it. That is the simple learning which we should be taking at home and trying to utilize the whatever opportunities which we are having. That's the only point I would like to add.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Ms. Anuja Shukla, co-chair, YI Raipur chapter, to present the vote of thanks on behalf of YI Raipur.
Hello, everyone. I would like to thank Chapter Yuva Chair Ritesh for moderating this session. Hello, everyone. I, on behalf of Young Indians and CII, would like to thank Tarang, Siddharth Bhaiya, Dr. Piyush Pandey, Gaurav, and Ritesh for moderating this session, the faculty, students of Amity University, and our YI members. I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for sharing the valuable insights and experience on this pertinent topic. Your diverse perspectives has gotten so much of insights and a very successful Y20 brainstorming session has been done here in Amity University. I'm sure all the students here and me personally, I have also gained a lot of knowledge. I'd like to thank the Yuva students who've joined us today. Your enthusiasm and eagerness to learn is an inspiration to all of us to come on the stage and talk. I hope this panel discussion has provided you with valuable insights. Again, thank you for making this happen. And this is the beginning of the G20 journey for the Raipur chapter here. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to hosting many such events for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, sir, to present the memento to our respected guests. With this, we come to an end of today's program. And on behalf of all the students and staff, I'm glad to be standing here to express my vote of thanks. I would like to thank our guests, Mr. Siddharth Agarwal, Mr. Tarang Khurana, Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, for accepting our invitation and being here with us today. Thank you, sir. Your thoughts have truly inspired us. I would like to thank Mr. Ritesh Gandecha and Ms. Anuja Shukla and all other officials of YI Raipur. I would also like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, sir, Honorable Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Surendra Rahmatkar, sir, and Honorable Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sumita Dave, ma'am, all the HOIs, deans, directors, faculty members of Amity University, Chhattisgarh. I would like to thank all the students present here. I'm grateful to have each and everyone here. Thank you, everyone.